Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Dreamin' Wild, a drama starring Zoe Deschanel and Casey Affleck about two brothers who made an album when they were teenagers, and then later in life, people discover it, and it they become kind of famous. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 11. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I like these kinds of movies, being a creative guy, because it kind of gives you hope that something that has artistic merit will eventually rise to the top. So this is based on the true story of these two brothers who made an album when they were teenagers, and it's Walter Goggins and Casey Affleck. They made this album. They spent a ton of money on it. It didn't really do well, and then they kind of struggled after that. Walter Goggins kind of stayed behind to help the farm, I think, and then Casey Affleck continued to make music. And it's like, suddenly New York Times does a story on them, and they're doing podcasts, and now someone rediscovers their album, and then they're talking a tour. They're talking getting back into the business, and then it's about the drama around that with Walter Goggins. What is it? Walton Goggins. It's Walton Goggins? I thought it was Walter Goggins. Walton Goggins. Bo Bridges and him are in it, but it says with, so maybe not. Maybe it's more about Casey Affleck, because he's the one who sort of never gave up the dream, but he feels guilty that I think his father either sold some of his land, or his land was he's in debt because, and then he's got issues with his brother, and then they're going back on tour, so it all comes bubbling back, and I guess Zoe Deschanel is in it, in the band too. I think she plays Casey Affleck's wife. Never been a fan of Zoe, but she appears to be doing her job. So yeah, I kind of like the premise. Feels very positive. Feels like it'll be a nice drama. Yeah, there'll be some conflict, but in the end, these guys finally sort of get recognized for something they made that was good, and I kind of like that. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Would I see it? Maybe. Probably wouldn't go to the movies for it. I mean, only because movies are so expensive and the experience isn't great, but VOD, maybe. I'd have to be in the mood for it. This isn't a typical movie for me. I don't watch a lot of dramas because it's probably going to be slow paced, and the music, it's going to be fine, but I don't know if it's going to like knock my socks off, but I'd probably watch it in some capacity. No real other info here. Walton Goggins. I thought it was Walter. So first act, there Casey is struggling with he's got like a recording studio. He's in the music business, but he's not super successful or anything. They might be in financial trouble. Things are, he's struggling. He's still struggling after all these years. Then he gets this call, and they're interested in talking about his album from years ago. So he goes to the family farm to meet his brother, who was his partner in the band, and this reporter or whoever he is, and he tells him, we love your album. We go back in time and we find these lost classics and we kind of revive them. And so second act, now there's all this crazy amount of hope, out of nowhere. And this kind of happens, You kind of just run into people, or people discover your stuff, and the next thing you know, it's like everybody's paying attention to me again. So it's kind of a great feeling. I've experienced it on a small scale. So yeah, second act, they start gearing up for another tour. They could get the band back together. Classic. But Casey has all this guilt for his dad putting out all this money when it didn't work out the first time. Is it going to happen again? He doesn't have any money. He's struggling. Walton Goggins. He's got some. They had some issues. He's worried too, and this all comes to a head at the end of the second act. But will they resolve their issues in the third act? It looks like this is crazy. We can't go back on tour. We're too old. This was too long ago. And then the third act, I guess it's based on a true story. So maybe they put out another album. Only this time the farm isn't in danger, and maybe they make a little bit of money. They save their dad's farm, I'll say. I don't know. Maybe they took some liberties with it. Maybe the farm really wasn't in danger. But I like the premise. I like the positive vibes out of it. So I think it could be good. Casey Affleck is okay. As an actor, I kind of like him a little better than Ben. I think the problem with Ben now is he's too famous, right? And it's always like him. And whereas Casey is not famous, I always kind of forget about him. So I think the problem with some actors who are too famous, they can't blend into their role enough that I can't see them. Whereas Casey kind of can, because he's just not that famous. He's the lesser famous of the Affleck brothers, but that doesn't mean he's a bad actor. I think he's okay. I think he's good. Walton Goggins is very good. Bo Bridges, very veteran. So there's a lot of good people in this. Seems like it's going to be a decent drama. I think this could be good. I think this could be very good. If you like these kind of, I think it's going to be kind of low key, laid back. It's not going to be like car chases and stuff like that. But yeah, for a drama, I think this could be very solid. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. I don't know how much longer YouTube's going to put up with me. Things got a little spicy in the live stream. So I think I'm okay. You never know with YouTube, because the algorithm doesn't catch up to you till years later. And then they just suddenly flag you out of nowhere. I got a strike, which disappears in August, for a video that was 2.5 years ago. So please join me on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble especially. Because if my channel goes dark, I'll be on those three. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.